When it comes to winning fights in Apex Legends, there's three main pillars of success. One of those being aim, another one being position or use of cover, and then another one being movement. Today we're going to focus on aim and how you can get beams like this. Down one. Rising down. Oh, we didn't put bunny into this.
Spotted here.
98 on Gibraltar. Pathfinder got some damage on him. Before we begin, make sure you guys like the video and make sure you guys subscribe. Whenever I check my analytics, it always shows me that most of the time watched on my videos is not from actual subscribers. So make sure you guys like the video and subscribe, man. It just means a lot. It helps a lot and it'll make sure this channel is successful. Now that we went over that, here's my settings. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown of what I'm currently using. But the thing is, you may not want to just copy my settings outright, because at the end of the day, the settings come down to what works for you. So now that we've went through the settings, here are the 3 steps to get better aim in this order. 1 being learn recoil smoothing, 2 being practice with your favorite guns in the firing range, and 3 is practicing in live action game and mindfully picking up your favorite guns and practicing your aim with those guns. In Apex Legends, each gun has its own recoil pattern when you shoot, and you can choose to try to learn those recoil patterns of the gun, but the trick to controlling recoil with any gun is using recoil smoothing. What recoil smoothing is with the left analog stick is what you're moving around with on controller, right? So whatever way you're strafing, you want to go the opposite way with the right analog stick. If I'm going up and left diagonal with the left analog stick, you want to be slightly holding down and diagonal to the right with the right analog stick, and vice versa. So any way you're strafing with the left analog stick, you want to go the opposite direction with the right analog stick. So let's focus on this dummy right here. If I'm walking with the diagonal upwards to the left, you want to be down and diagonal right with the right analog stick to get a beam like that. So this is without doing anything on my controller besides holding LT and RT. Now I'm not moving any of either analog stick. This is what it looks like. So you see how it jumps up super high? This is what it looks like when I don't strafe, but I just try to aim with the right analog stick. Which is cool, that's fine, but to get it a dead on beam, you want to be strafing or walking at least one direction and going the opposite direction with the right analog stick. So let's look at this dummy, and then upwards diagonal left is what I like to do, and then downwards diagonal right. And that's without a barrel or anything like that. Let's do it from a little bit of a distance. So upwards left, downwards right. And the downwards to the right, or whatever adjustment you make with the right analog stick, is super subtle. You don't want to jerk it. You don't want to over press a button. A lot of people start off, they really try to like crank on that right analog stick. Really gentle. You got to be really gentle with your thumbs. You know what I mean? We'll do that same thing here with the flatline. You want to be really gentle with your hands. You don't want to be overzealous with it. Upwards left, downwards right. And then let's go upwards right, downwards left. So the key to recoil smoothing though is basically you're strafing to mitigate, to pretty much control where your gun's gonna like kind of flow to. You're already strafing and controlling that, and then the right analog stick is just keeping it balanced. And this is probably the main tip that I would take from this video is recoil smoothing. I get a ton of people asking me how I get laser beam or accusing of something like Cronus or something like that. But really controlling recoil on Apex is really not that hard. Any top player or any like high skill player on Apex is doing recoil smoothing for the most part. And like always, no matter where I'm at, I'm always like somewhat moving when I'm shooting. And I wouldn't even say my aim is like crazy, you know? But recoil smoothing kind of just helps so you don't have to remember all the recoil patterns and whatnot. Alright, now step number 2 is picking up your favorite gun. It could be any of these guns, whatever you like, and practicing in the firing range. And what I like to do is before I even get in the games a lot, you'll see it on my stream sometimes. By the way, I be streaming daily, Monday through Friday for sure, sometimes Saturdays. But basically, this is what I do before every stream, and sometimes you'll see it at the beginning. But I'll come in, I'll grab my favorite guns, which usually is R301 and Flatline. I'll pick up, I'll pick up everything gold here, get a gold back so I get all the ammo I need, and I grab the best attachments you can grab. One being because if you grab a gold mag and you shoot something and you switch to the other gun, you don't have to reload because it'll already be reloaded for you. So it's like, why even waste your time with that? And yes, people will say, well, I like to practice without the attachments because, it makes me better at being able to use it when there's nothing on it. But I get that. I completely get that. But this is the firing range. This is just basically how I like to do it. And the goal of the game is to get the best loot possible. So, that you're not aiming to just walk around with the R301 with nothing on it at the end of the day. So I like to just go for what I'm always looking for in game, which is the best stuff. And I'll come to a dummy. Let's just focus on this one. And I'll start here, and I'll just one clip it with both guns. You know what I'm saying? Do that, and then I'll walk back a little bit, and then do it again. And basically, I'll do this whole process until I get super far back to where I can't one clip, and then I'll stay there. So I'll just keep working back, keep working back. Keep working back. Keep working back. This is usually where I start having tough time one clipping. And then I'll just stay here for a minute and just try to get some beams off. But basically I do that with both guns, and I literally go until all the ammo's out in both guns, and I'll either do it again or I'll just feel like I'm ready to go in game. But yeah, that's step 2. You want to practice with your favorite guns in the firing range before you even touch the live game. Now step 3 is just practicing in game with live bodies, keeping in mind to pick up your favorite guns when you're doing this. Now this is going to get you way better than, the first and second step are really important, but this step is really important too, because practicing against dummies or practicing on like, any of these markers or anything like that, that's only going to get you so far. You really need to be in game versus live people, feeling how they strafe, because people strafe differently. You'll get the hang of how people like to strafe, and just, you just learn the overall gist of like where you should be aiming, how to lead your shots, things like that. It's really hard to do that in the firing range. I know in season 16 they are talking about adding more things in the firing range to make dummies seem more real and get better practice. But for what we have now, playing live game is the best way to put all of those things I just said into action. And once you practice this live game, you practice this for a couple hours a day, you'll notice it. You'll get better and better and better. You just have to remember to keep using recoil smoothing, keep practicing in the firing range with your favorite guns, and learning from a distance how to recoil smooth and get those laser beams, and then practicing in the live game. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is how to aim better in Apex Legends. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.